We are here in Egypt!
Have you ever wondered what would happen if modern internet culture collided head-on with ancient history, national pride, and the most intense football fandom on the planet? Because in January 2026, that exact collision happened during the northern leg of IShowSpeed's Africa tour, and the result was the most cinematic, controversial, and conversation-shifting chapter of his entire journey. This wasn't just another travel segment. This leg pushed boundaries that no streamer had touched before. It blended World Heritage sites with live internet chaos, stadiums filled with national emotion, and moments so tense they sparked global debate. From the depths of the Great Pyramids of Giza to packed football stadiums in North Africa, Speed influence was tested in ways no analytics dashboard could ever predict. The northern leg proved one thing very clearly: Speed wasn't just reacting to Africa anymore. Africa was reacting back, loudly. It all began in Egypt, and right from the start, this stop felt different. Egypt wasn't just a spontaneous drop-in. It was a carefully coordinated, high-level logistical operation. For the first time on the tour, Speed worked directly alongside government authorities to promote tourism, heritage, and global visibility. The goal was clear: show the world a side of Egypt that most people only ever see in textbooks or documentaries, but do it through the raw, unfiltered lens of a live stream. And then came the moment that rewrote streaming history. Speed became the first person ever to live stream from deep inside the Great Pyramids of Giza. Not outside, not nearby, inside. Cables were specially extended into ancient chambers that are thousands of years old, allowing millions of viewers to follow him through narrow corridors, dimly lit stone passages, and rooms that have housed human history longer than most civilizations have existed. At its peak, over 3.5 million people were watching live. Think about that for a second. Millions of people, in real time, seeing the interior of one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, not through a polished documentary, but through the chaotic, unpredictable energy of a modern internet personality. Speed's reactions were a mix of awe, disbelief, and nervous excitement. He joked about the tight spaces, whispered in certain chambers out of respect, and openly admitted he never imagined he'd experience something like this in his lifetime. For many viewers, this wasn't just entertainment, it was access. People who would never get the chance to travel to Egypt suddenly felt like they were walking inside the pyramid alongside him. Tourism boards around the world took notes that day, because Speed had just demonstrated a new way to connect history with the digital generation. But Speed wasn't done. If the pyramid stream was history, what came next was pure spectacle. In one of the most visually insane moments of the tour, Speed paraglided over the Giza plateau, soaring above the Sphinx, with the desert stretching endlessly below him. As he flew, wind rushing past, ancient monuments beneath his feet, he screamed his signature "See you" into the open sky. The contrast was surreal. Back on the ground, Speed leaned fully into local culture. He walked through the streets of Cairo wearing a traditional galabia, blending into the city while still drawing massive crowds. He tried Egypt's national dish, kosheri, and loved it so much that he literally did a backflip in the street. Vendors laughed, fans cheered, and clips of that moment spread across TikTok within hours. One of the most unexpectedly wholesome moments came when a young fan noticed Speed shivering after the paragliding flight. Without hesitation, the kid handed him his jacket. Speed paused, thanked him repeatedly, and wore it proudly for the rest of the stream. In a tour full of chaos and controversy, moments like that reminded everyone that beneath the noise, real human connections were being made. From Egypt's ancient calm, Speed flew west to Morocco, and the energy exploded. Morocco wasn't just another stop, it was the grand finale of the entire tour, timed perfectly with one of the biggest football events on the continent, the AFCON 2025 Final. Anticipation was already high, but nobody expected what Speed was about to do. Inside Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium in Rabat, with tens of thousands of fans packed into the stands, Speed pulled off one of the most viral stunts of his career. Dressed head to toe as Assad the Lion, the official tournament mascot, he blended into the pre-match spectacle. Fans waved, cameras rolled, and nobody realized who was behind the costume. Then, at the peak moment, he revealed himself. The stadium erupted. Screams, phones flying into the air, entire sections losing their minds. The realization that IShowSpeed was inside the stadium, in costume, during the final between Morocco and Senegal sent the crowd into a frenzy. The clip traveled faster than the match highlights themselves. For a moment, Speed wasn't just a streamer, he was part of the event. Throughout the day, he streamed in the Morocco national kit, proudly repping the colors and celebrating with fans. Later, in Casablanca, he linked up with local influencers, exchanging jokes, content ideas, and cultural moments that felt far more relaxed than previous stops. One thing Speed repeatedly emphasized in Morocco was the hospitality. He described it as legendary, contrasting it with the chaos he had experienced elsewhere on the tour. People welcomed him into homes, offered food, guided him through cities, and treated him like family rather than a spectacle. It was emotional, it was grounding, and it felt like the perfect closing chapter. Or so it seemed, because then came Algeria. Algeria was the most unpredictable stop of the northern leg, a place where warmth and tension existed side by side. The visit started beautifully. Speed explored the historic Hasba of Algiers, dancing with locals, laughing with kids, and absorbing the atmosphere of one of North Africa's most culturally rich areas. One of the most touching moments of the entire tour happened here. Speed met a blind Algerian boy and gifted him a brand new iPhone, specifically to help him use accessibility features that would make daily life easier. Speed attended the Algiers derby between MC Alger and USM Alger, the Nelson Mandela Stadium, one of the most intense football rivalries in the region. From the moment he entered, the energy was volatile. Flares burned, chants echoed, tension hung in the air. Then chaos broke out. As Speed was recognized, objects began flying from the stands, water bottles, debris. Security quickly surrounded him as the situation escalated. The exit was rushed. Clips went viral within minutes, sparking massive online debate. Some viewers blamed extreme football fan culture. Algerian fans pushed back, arguing the incident didn't represent the country as a whole. What was undeniable was this: the moment exposed the darker side of influence at scale. When millions are watching, every reaction is amplified. Every incident becomes a headline. And not every environment reacts the same way to internet fame. By the time the northern leg ended, Speed had experienced the full spectrum of Africa's complexity, ancient history and modern technology, joy and tension, hospitality and chaos, celebration and controversy. Egypt gave him history, Morocco gave him closure, Algeria gave him reality. This leg proved that Speed's influence wasn't just entertaining. It was powerful enough to open doors, start conversations, and sometimes spark uncomfortable questions. It showed the internet something it rarely sees: Africa as layered, emotional, intense, and alive. Not a single story, but many. And now the question becomes unavoidable. When a streamer can walk through pyramids, ignite stadiums, and spark global debates in the same month, what does that say about the future of media? Are creators becoming the new bridge between culture and audience? Or is the world still catching up to how powerful this influence really is? If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you subscribe for more deep dives into the moments that shape internet history. And tell me this: do you think the northern leg was the most impactful part of Speed's Africa tour? Or do you believe the controversy went too far?